Hello, everyone. This is the Tea Blend, and I'm Toy.
I'm Tokumba. Welcome back. Happy New Year, girl.
Happy New Year at this time of the year, right?
I feel like it's almost like I can't believe we're in February already.
All right, wow.
We always have the best intentions of how things are going to go, and
Then life.
then life just always comes up. Life creeps up. Life happens. So we're filming the day after
Valentine's.
Valentine's
Yeah.
Day. How was your Valentine's Day?
It was nice, just the way I liked it. Everything was very simple,
Yeah.
but was everything that I liked. Watch a movie,
Yeah.
go for a massage.
Oh,
You know?
nice, romantic.
Yeah, it was very simple. I
Very
don't
chilled.
like to do too much. Everybody else is out there, and
Same, and the day before Valentine's Day was Dee Dee's birthday, my daughter's birthday, as you know, and we went out to eat already. And then on Valentine's Day, it was more chilled. Nobody's trying to go to the restaurant on
no.
Valentine's Day,
absolutely not.
especially this year that it was on a Saturday, so no one was trying to do that. But it was fun. It was nice, enjoyed, stayed home with my flowers, my chocolate. So very,
I
very
didn't even
nice.
do any chocolate.
You were like, no chocolate for me.
I had rice.
Rice, jollof rice.
No,
Oh,
Thai rice.
because you're always in. Ooh, I like. Yeah, no one in my house likes Thai food for some.
serious?
They like Chinese food, but not. I love Thai
No,
food.
Thai is a
yeah.
favorite in my
You
house.
didn't tell me about there was the Thai food place near your house that you
Yeah,
told me is really good.
the same one.
I have to try that. Yeah.
They know me by my number.
What's your number?
My phone. They were like,
Oh, by your telephone
Yep.
number. Oh my. Wow. How often do you eat? Which is cool because you don't typically you don't really
that's the
eat out
only
in a
thing
lot of places.
That's the only one that I feel comfortable with. So I'm
Oh.
so happy. And it's right there.
That's great. No, I like it. Last year, Tony and I turned 50.
Big 50.
I can't even believe when I say that. It sounds like
It's
oh, Tony is older, by the way.
yeah, whatever,
You
by
know?
month.
She's older by 1 month.
But listen, I remember there was a time when I used to think 30 was old.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, not that 50 is old, but 50, I mean, it's up there, but
no,
it's not like
but to be fair, I feel in those days when I thought about my aunts that were 50, when I look now and I just like I'm 50, like I can't even.
how did I get here?
I can't believe that I'm 50. And it's a good thing, especially in today's climate where people try to make fun of people getting older. And I'm always wondering, what is this thing about making fun? Oh my God, you're 50. And like, if you're not 50, what are you? You're dead. Like, if you're not
She said you're
aging.
dead.
No,
I know,
because
even my kids
if you're
were like,
not
"Mom, no."
aging, you are dead, right? So when you make fun of people aging, like, it's something they can control. You can't control aging.
Everybody's
It's
gonna get
not
there.
like gaining weight. You can control gaining weight, but you can't control aging. People don't typically make fun of guys, though. I feel it's usually more women centered.
Yeah, you see, like, oh, he's aging gracefully.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. They like
white.
the men
Yeah.
with their salt and pepper look and everything, but the
Exactly.
women, they always. Halle Berry was talking about that recently, and she's actually always talking about that. And she was just, she's promoting her new movie.
Yeah,
and she
which
was
I saw,
talking
by
about
the way.
that recently. She said everyone would say, Halle Berry, you look so beautiful. I can't believe she's 59. She's like, why can't they just say Halle Berry is so beautiful?
Why do you have
do
to
you have
attach?
to add the 59?
Yeah.
And even the guys were saying, oh, that's true. No one really mentions their ages.
That's true.
But they always mention her age. They say, every time my age is always the center. Why can't they just say, oh, you look nice? Why do you have to talk about my age?
I don't know. I feel getting older it's a beautiful thing. And
It is a beautiful
Yeah,
thing. I mean,
you know?
what shocked you the most about being? Well, I don't know if I should even say shock. Was it a shock? But I mean, what do you think has been? Yeah, what has shocked you the most about being 50? Apart from the fact that your knees, your bones are deteriorating.
I think more so for me about I wouldn't say shocked me, but I think maybe not being able to probably like run as fast as I used to. Because I just would keep going and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's like I'm at 2 miles and I'm like
You're winded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
yeah.
that's where I would say a little bit of shock came in. Other than that, I mean, I feel like just I'm still me. You
Yeah.
know? I'm still me. I'm still doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
I may not be able to run as fast as I used to. I mean, it's just part of life. What about you?
Well, I think in my 30s and in my 40s, I always had this idea that, oh, once you're in your 50s, you would have had everything figured out.
You get it all together?
You would have, like, everything would be so together. Your life would be together. So it's not really a shock, but it's more a realization that I don't really have everything together, but I have more clarity
Okay, that's a good
about
one.
life. That's
Welcome to reality, honey.
the reality. But I like it. More quality over quantity type of mentality.
I think with age comes a level of confidence.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
at this point, you're just like, hey, listen, I need to start doing stuff for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
worrying so much
Time.
about others, not in a selfish manner.
Exactly.
Just to make that clear.
Exactly.
But it's just more so, this is what works for me. This is what I'm comfortable with.
At this phase in my life, I want to invest in people who invest in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I
I
know
agree.
that it can sound selfish, but when you've lived 5 decades,
old.
decades,
That sounds old.
but you know that when I take stock of my life, I have to look sometimes at the amount of things that I've invested in or put my time into, friends and people who, when you take stock, when you look back, you're like, well, it's very one-sided.
Okay.
You know, I don't see them putting in as much effort
As
as
you
I'm
did.
putting into. So I am choosing at this phase in my life that I want to invest in who wants to invest in me. You know, I want to give quality time to people who choose to give quality time to me. Because if I have to stop what I'm doing to come attend to you, but you treat me, I'm not a priority. If I'm not a priority for you, then you shouldn't be a priority for me.
I agree.
And whether that sounds selfish or not, I just don't really care about that. And it goes both ways. You know, sometimes people always say, oh, it's not really only about friends either. That I'm throwing family in there too.
Everybody.
I'm throwing everybody in there. So it's, if I'm not a priority to you, then you're not going to be a priority for me.
I mean, you couldn't have come 5 decades to still be like
Girl.
kissing ass.
No, we don't owe everybody access.
No,
You know,
absolutely. I agree.
and if you see the whole thing happening, before I say this, I feel like I'm going to say this, and then Tony's going to be like, "What are you talking about?" Now, obviously, you know Glorilla.
Oh yeah, I do.
You've seen the whole thing with
The
her
rap-
and her sister, right?
Yeah, I heard that one on,
So
what's that show?
and that's an example, right? So the sister is saying, "Oh, you know,
not-
she made it, and she's
Sort of
not." Access, but then she doesn't give us access. She's not taking care of the family. She's not doing this. She's not doing that. She owes us. And that's the thing. What do you mean she owes you?
That's the-
Nobody owes you anything.
Entitlement.
It's entitlement.
Yeah.
You know, she may choose to do for you, but she certainly does not owe you. And for you to come out and say, how dare she? We were both sleeping on the floor. So she owes me. She doesn't owe you.
And whose choice was it? that
You
you
doesn't owe, and you're even older than her. Why didn't you figure it out for the family? Why is it on her to figure it out? I think they said their parents had 10 children and they were so hungry at some point she wants to eat a roach. If you're that hungry and you want to eat a roach,
I didn't know that much. The only reason I
Yeah.
got into that is because I heard on the radio, but I
Yeah.
didn't know it was that deep.
but if you're going to go on social media and drag your sister because of what you think she should or should not do for you, and it's just an assumption. You just because you see her out there doesn't mean that you really know her life or her hustle or how much she has or does not have, you know. But that's the thing, it's just that sense of entitlement, you saying just because we're family, she owes me. No, she don't she really does not owe you.
Absolutely.
She really does not owe you because you were not there when she was working tirelessly, sleepless night, doing whatever. So what makes you think she owes you?
Yeah, life is just. I think more so when you get older, you begin to understand the kind of things you shouldn't bother yourself with,
Yeah.
just for peace of mind.
Yes.
For sanity.
Yes.
You know, I feel like you can get sick easily. You worry yourself with certain
Putting other
things.
people's junk onto yourself,
Deflate.
right?
Let it go.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I'm not even trying to. I think I've come to a place. I mean, I'm not saying I turned 50 today, so now this
you're
is gonna be
wise.
this,
You're
this is
all
that.
knowing
No,
and all-
there's certain things that I already had in me that I'm just, in a place where I say, okay, this is me. This is what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going to continue to work with. Obviously, you still want to enhance yourself and be the best you can. Just because you turn 50
Yes.
doesn't mean you're giving up on anything.
Yes. I feel, fewer explanations, fewer
For sure.
apologies, saying no without guilt. No is a complete sentence, people.
There should be nothing else
There
after
should be
it.
no, but I feel for me though, that's always been me. Like I had this mentality where, I just always wanted to be. I always want to
A
feel like I'm
pleaser.
showing up for people. Yes, and you could look at it as being kind of like a pleaser. I just want, but I've also realized that no matter what you do in life, people will always have a problem with it, right?
Can't please
So
everybody.
you can't please everybody. So at the end of the day, do what you really want to do. And time, I'm finding out, is actually the real currency here.
Yes, indeed.
You know, my time is worth so much. And so I don't want to give my time to people who will not appreciate it. Remember when I told you that I had committed? Like I had a group reach out to me for a project, and I'm always so quick to commit and say, yes, yes, let's do it. So I committed to this project without first understanding the entire project. I didn't really ask all the
How
questions.
much it was going to take
Yeah.
from you.
What was it going to take? What was the timeline? What was the duration? Things like that. So I'd committed to this project and thinking it was going to be a few months. That project turned into a 2-year project. But then
How do you pull out of that?
I didn't want to pull out because then I felt like I would be disappointing people. But then it put a hardship on me. So something that I did out of the goodness of my heart to support another friend's project turned into this 2-year burden for me. And remember, at the same time, I was doing my MBA program. So this was like a real big deal.
Yeah.
So eventually I finished it, but then they wanted to take it again into the 3rd year. And at this point, I had to be like, no, I can't do it. It taught me a lesson that I can't just sign. It's not, you can't just sign a blank check to, if somebody comes to me now, I want to understand the project first. Before I would say no before I understood. But now I would say, let me think about it first and really make sure that I understand what I'm getting myself into before I say yes. So time is the real currency.
Yeah, definitely time and time. I appreciate my time and appreciate others too. So if I'm respecting your time, you better respect mine. Otherwise,
Right.
there's nothing happening.
Right.
And I feel like at this point, I just feel like there's a limit to your tolerance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like things that you just feel like at this point, I'm not going to tolerate.
And we shouldn't tolerate. And to be honest, like when I played back in my head and I think about the things that I did tolerate, I'm always like, why did you do that?
There's that thing on social media where they will show someone like, thinking deeply of some things that they've done in the past. Like me,
You
I
almost
can't
wanna-
believe I did
I wanna
this for love.
slap
I can't believe I did this
my
for that.
30-year-old self or my 40-year-old self. Like some of the things I actually put up with or tolerated, and I don't know why I did that. Maybe it's just this idea of acceptance, of maybe people would accept you better. But now in my 50, I know that if they're not going to accept you, they're not going to accept you. There's nothing that you do that will make people accept you if they're not going to accept you. There's this girl that I follow on social media. I want to give her credit for this because I actually heard it from her. Her name is, I think, is Mina Aduba. She's like an influencer. She does makeup and things like that. So she recently turned 40. And so she was talking about the same thing about what she's learned. And she talked about that a friend who doesn't come to ask your own side of the story, she realizes is not a friend, that she had to learn that the hard way. Because when it comes to a conversation and people are talking about you or they're talking about you in a disparaging way, and a friend is there, but that person never came back to you to ask for your side of the story. Yes.
Yeah.
And when I think back and I'm like, that is so true. Because how many times have I had that situation where something would come up and then a so-called friend, oh yeah, I heard that. And I'm like, and you never asked.
I know, like
you never asked me about it. I was like, oh, well, I didn't believe it or whatever. But it just sounds so weird that you would hear that and not even come and say, hey, I heard this.
I think, it's all part of learning too and all part of growing.
Yeah.
So like you just get older and get wiser.
You get older and you get wiser. And
of
that's
things.
the joy. So when people want to make fun of you getting older or being wiser, I think for me, actually, and it's just not when I turned 50, I think I've been learning that all in my 40s as well. It's just this, you just know more of who you are, this self-confidence, like you feel like you're in your own skin finally.
I feel at this point, I'm advocating for myself in all aspects.
Yes.
even medically.
And you
When I
shouldn't
go to
even
my doctor,
apologize for that. There was a time where I used to feel, oh, it doesn't look good to always want to say, oh, no, I'm right, you're wrong. But now I actually am.
she's like, "You're wrong,
I'm
and
like,
I'm
I'm gonna
right."
say 10, I'm gonna be 10 toes down. Yeah, you're wrong. No, you're actually wrong. Because sometimes you want to be humble, but where's that getting you?
So what happened to it? Come on, let's reevaluate that.
Reevaluate what?
Perhaps we can go this way.
No, no.
You're wrong.
My no is my very firm no. My yes is my very firm yes. And if it's going to fall apart, let it fall apart because I made a mistake, right? But I'm not gonna go just because everybody else. That majority, everybody wants to do something, so you're doing it because that's what everybody wants to do. No, no.
Even lately at work, I feel like I'm always playing the devil's advocate when something comes up, and then
Yeah.
I'll get, "Oh yeah, do we definitely appreciate your
Your
thoughts."
but trash. I'm gonna put it in the shredding machine. No, I remember. So last year I went on vacation with a group of friends, a group of girlfriends, right? And it was going to be packed, right? It was like 3 days of just a lot of
Activity.
things happening and activities.
See,
And
that drains me.
when you go on a group trip, you're doing what everybody's doing. So there was this day that they wanted to go. They wanted to go into. We were on a resort, obviously. I don't really like venturing out of resorts. I'm just one of those people that likes to stay
There, there.
in the resort. I feel like it's always safer. But they wanted to go do the bungee jumping. They wanted to go do the ATV, the tequila tasting and all of that stuff. So I'm not a hard drinker. I wasn't going to be doing the tequila tasting. And then my thing is, you were going to do tequila tasting and then you're going to go do bungee jumping. That just sounded,
What kind of combination is that? Shouldn't you do the bungee jumping?
that just sounded way too dangerous for me
Lord.
that after doing shots of tequila, you're all about to go get on a rope.
The idea was that.
I just did not know. So I told them, and I paid for it, right? Because when you're going on a group trip, you pay for all the. So I paid for it. But when we got there, I looked at this beautiful resort we were on, and I'm like, I just rather stay here. Like, I don't want to go into the city. I don't want to be hot. I just rather stay here by the pool, enjoy my nice pina coladas, and just stay. So they were upset. They were like, well, you're not going to go. And at first so the night before I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to go. They were like, what? They were getting upset. And I thought about it. And at first I was just going to go to please everybody. But then I was in my room and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do it. Because first of all, we have to wake up at the crack of dawn to get on the bus, to go to all these adventures, to do something I really did not want to do.
I'm over that.
So listen, let me tell you. I sent them a message and I said, so I'm not going to go. They were upset, but I didn't care. But when I tell you, I had the best day. I slept in.
There you go.
I woke up late. I went for brunch by the time I woke up and I had the best time. Now they came back, they also had a great time.
Whatever works.
But I'm glad that I did not inconvenience myself just to make them happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally over.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm not going on any vacation to be jumping hoops and ATVs and all that stuff. I've had that and I'm fine with it. So now
I don't want to get up at 6:00 on vacation. I want to sleep till my eyes pop open and then I can decide, okay, what am I eating? But I'm not getting up. Again, if it's something that I like, let's say we're going for a massage or a spa.
See, now you're talking my language.
You're talking my language
That's
now.
what
But
I wanna
to
do at this
tequila
point.
tasting, ATV, I was just like,
I don't
that's not my
think
thing. I don't
so.
want to. And I would have done it. I would have done it. In the past, I would have done it just because I wanted to make and even when they came back, they tried to make me feel guilty because they were like, well, we had to partner up with someone because, there were certain things that they did that they had to partner up with people, but because they were missing me, they had to partner up with someone I was like, I had a great time sitting here, guys.
talking about turning 50, I feel like those are some of the things that I'm no longer going to be doing. I'm not going. I mean, I've done that. I'm kind of like active. I love stuff like that. But I just feel like at this point, I'm over that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to break a leg.
No,
prove
who's trying to
anything.
break it? Because also we talk about these bones, like you want
Exactly.
to get
Falling at 50 is not the same thing as falling at your 20s or
No,
30s.
you be getting
No.
you be getting hip replacement at this point in
no,
time. Like
sorry,
nobody's
so-
trying to do that.
I'm on all the subtle, soft things now.
Yeah, and listen, I want. Listen, I'm not trying to hustle up and down. I'm not trying. Listen, I would take one trip a year just so that I can get the lounges and the upgraded tickets. I'm just not.
Hey.
I'm not trying to. Nobody's trying to hustle anymore. Nobody's trying to do all that. We've done it. We've paid our dues. So now I think I'll stick my kids in the.
Just said I'll stick my
I'll stick
kids.
because they've not done it. What have they? They've not hustled for nothing, so they can go sit back there while we enjoy the life.
Oh wow. So yeah.
Lessons we learned the hard way. What lessons would you say that you've learned the hard way up to this moment?
Going back to just understanding time. For me,
Yeah.
time is something that I don't want to take for granted.
Yeah,
You know, I don't
Yeah.
own time,
yeah.
so I feel like my time is really precious.
It is currency. That's what I
Yes.
say. That's my thing today.
Yeah.
Time is currency. So
Yeah.
sometimes people don't invite you to something and feel like you're going to cry. You know how happy I am sometimes when people don't invite. I'm like, oh,
Please, who?
This is
Well, I
like-
mean, this is another thing my sister and I were talking about. How people get so into being invited to events in Nigeria. in
yeah,
particular.
because people get upset when they don't get invited to something,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
If you don't invite me, that's
If you-
that's fine.
I'm actually
And I
okay,
respect
yeah.
that.
I
Like,
respect
why
it.
should if you don't have to?
Don't
Why should I have
do
to
not
ask
feel
you,
don't feel
or-
obligated.
Yeah,
and
absolutely
again,
not.
you listen, if you've not been in somebody's life in quite a while, like if I even as close as I am with certain friends, if I don't talk to you all the time, I'm not going to feel some kind of way if I don't get invited to something because there are many reasons why people don't invite you. Maybe they have limited space, right? And they're choosing the
Yeah.
people that are there. It doesn't mean that they don't like you. It doesn't mean that if it was maybe an open invite, I'm sure you would have been invited. So there are certain things that you may not get invited to because maybe you're not right now, you're not in the inner circle.
circle.
You're still in the circle, you're just not in the inner circle. So you shouldn't feel offended if somebody doesn't really invite you. And I don't feel offended if
Those
somebody
things
doesn't
don't-
invite me.
They don't bother.
You know,
But some people take to heart. Though. Yeah.
some people take
And
it to heart
yes.
if they don't get invited
I've
to
seen that in
something. Yeah,
Nigeria.
yeah. So
So yeah.
I think for me is peace is more important than being liked.
For sure.
You know, I just like my peace these days. You know, and,
don't blame you.
And to that point, not everybody will be in the circle because if I find that I'm having to if I leave your presence oftentimes and I feel a certain kind of way, maybe because during that time I find myself always having to explain something. You know, you have some friends
Yeah.
like that. It's always explaining something, always apologize, and always no.
Maybe I should confess this. I don't like apologizing. And let me tell you. let me explain.
Go
that.
ahead, cook.
Because I know people
Let
are going to
her
be like,
cook.
"What?" I really don't. So because of that, I always make extra effort to be in the right.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to intentionally offend. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that I
Yeah,
do something
no,
unintentionally, but I don't like to constantly be apologizing for something. So I always try to make sure that I'm treating people with grace.
Exactly.
I'm doing things
Exactly.
right to
Exactly.
my extent, because I don't feel like if I'm in a place where I'm constantly saying I'm sorry, I apologize, I apologize.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sit well with my soul.
Yeah.
So I would rather do it right. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just
No, it does. And I think the flip side to that, if there's something that really affects me and I like you enough and I don't want it to affect our friendship, I'm going to be clear to
Open
say,
about it.
listen, you did this and I think we should talk about it because I don't like how that made me feel. But that was then. Because I've also noticed that if I've had to say that to you several times and you continue doing that, then you really don't care. Like that's really how you feel about it. And so me telling you is not going to change anything. So now I don't even waste my time trying to explain to people what I don't like anymore. If you're moving a certain kind of way that I feel is counterproductive to how I want to receive things, I'm just going to adjust. I'm adjusting my own behavior because I'm not expecting people just will not. If I've had to say something to you more than once, so because you know that we've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
So you're just telling me that it is what it is. And that's okay. You don't have to change. I will adjust myself, and I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying boundaries that I'm putting into my relationships
Yes,
these days.
boundaries.
The boundaries are necessary for relationship. Not everyone is going to be at the same level. And we've talked about this so many times, but I think allowing yourself to actually do that and being okay with doing it. Sometimes I think we struggle with people that have been with us for years, in not wanting to change the dynamic of that relationship. But people outgrow each other, right?
And not everybody's
And we
meant to
all
be in your
grow
life
at
forever.
yes, we all grow at different pace, right? So maybe I've outgrown what brought us together, right? Maybe at some point when we were friends, it was friends, but let's talk about this person, talk about that person, let's make a mockery of this, and when I'm no longer there.
Or those that were partying all the time. And this one
Exactly.
was,
And now we're no longer there. And that's okay. It's
Yeah.
not, we're just now, we're not aligned anymore.
Yeah,
And
we're-
that's okay. So we've kind of outgrown that. So when you're now noticing sometimes that you're with a certain friend and you don't you don't even know what to say anymore, it's just like you're like, so hey, how was your day? How was your day?
Yeah.
You don't have that, banter of what you used to be able to talk about. And it's okay. So you're
Yeah.
outgrowing each other.
Yeah, even it says, like even people that are placed in your life for certain things.
Yeah.
Even it says it, like God put people in your life for
Season,
different
yes.
and they're gonna move out of your life. You're gonna step out of people's lives, and it doesn't mean that there should be some animosity or anything in there.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key. It doesn't all have to turn into any kind of animosity. I have friends that I may not have spoken to for a very long time just because life is taking us in different directions. But that does not mean I still don't think very highly of them. That if they
Exactly.
called me today, I wouldn't, stop what I'm doing to go attend to them. But we don't just we're not in each other's every day-to-day life. And
that's
that's okay.
okay.
What about areas that you've softened?
Areas that it has to be with the kids.
Yeah.
Things that I'll be huffing and puffing about,
Now,
10
the
years
older
ago.
ones are probably the ones that say that most to us, right? Because I feel
Yeah.
like my older one is always like,
Oh no, my daughter would be like, "Mom, I can't believe you let him do this."
Exactly.
that. You made him things like
I'm going
that.
to need you to come back with that. All the things that you put me through and you're letting her get away with it. I need that same energy of how you slapped me or...
But
I shouldn't say that out loud.
Same,
It's like-
this is the same thing that I used to hear like older siblings talk about.
Yeah.
Like, you talk about parents are kind of like chill now from like before.
Wait,
Oh, you
right,
got away with
right,
this
right.
and that. And then I'm beginning to see that now. Like
that we're
you
the
just
same
get older
way.
and you're just
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna be huffing and puffing about everything.
I know.
So I think that area.
Another thing with age, I think when we were talking earlier, there's this whole culture now where people ridicule people who refuse to do plastic surgery or do fillers or do whatever, and they're like, oh, I think a few years ago, who was it? I think it was Vanessa Williams who came out, and people just went in on her. Because she came out barefaced, she didn't have any
she
makeup
had-
on, and people just went in on this 60. I believe she's in her 60s now,
I
right?
believe so, yeah. Just let people age in grace.
people
Like
age.
if you want to go ahead,
Do you?
and do whatever it is that works for you, agent. Just let them do it in peace. If you feel like, hey, there's certain things that are gravitating south, and you want to lift them up, and you want to, your prerogative.
Knock
Like-
yourself out.
Just because everyone's not going to have Botox, and
Yeah.
this and
Fillers
that.
and
Yeah,
all that.
don't
And then,
condemn them,
yeah.
You know.
So now we've come to the part where we decide if we're blending it or blocking
Blocking
it.
it.
So we're going to say something and we'll decide if we choose to blend it into our lives or block it out.
So with that, are we going to blend or block hustle culture? After,
Hustle
well,
culture.
at 50.
Well, I think early in life, hustle made sense, right? For me. But now I feel like peace matters more for me. So I think I will be blocking hustle culture because why?
I think for me, I'm picking what hustle I'm doing.
Yeah.
What am I hustling? Like at this point,
Exhaustion.
yeah.
Nobody's trying to do
I'm
that,
not trying
right?
to stress my soul, my body, soul,
no,
and spirit.
girl, no.
So I have-
Sustainability.
yes.
I don't want to hustle. So you're blocking as well?
I'm blocking.
I like it. I like
Definitely
it.
blocking.
Now, we talked a little bit about this, but blend it or block it, outgrowing friendships.
We're definitely going to blend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I want to blend it. I think it's okay for people to outgrow me, just like it's okay for me to outgrow other people. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's time to start normalizing and being okay with relationships, either the ones that you've outgrown or the ones that
Outgrowing you.
have grown you. Yeah,
It can
that's
all
okay.
work. It could be peaceful.
Because growth changes people.
Yeah.
And we have to, I can't tell people that, oh, it changed me and then I'm upset if it changed somebody else.
Sure. It
You
has to
know,
go both
so
ways.
it's both ways, you know. Yeah.
So let's. I know we talked a little bit about this, but are we? What do we think about anti-aging? Are we going to block that? You know, the culture with that.
Oh, I'm definitely blocking the anti-aging culture. I think it's okay to allow people to age how they want to age. You know, some people
I agree.
believe, for instance, I feel like between Tonya and I, as this podcast probably go on, is where they're going to see your little salt and pepper hair peeking through. And I'm going to be the one that is always going to dye my hair because Tonya doesn't believe in dyeing hair.
I've never dyed my
but
hair.
I just think it's everybody's preference, right? Like if you don't want to dye your hair, you don't have to. And I actually think I've seen so many gorgeous people with their salt and pepper hair. But that's just not me. I'm always going to.
And that's fine.
And
It's
that's
so
okay.
I remember my aunt would say to me, she was like, Torian, I haven't seen any white hair. And I'm like, but let me tell you, I've seen one or two.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna be there. I mean, for now, I don't know what's
I
gonna
saw
happen.
a white eyelash the other day, and I'm like, "Oh, the devil's a liar!" Like not
What are
not
you
my
gonna do with that?
eyelash. I
Are you
don't
about
even
to-
know.
are
I
you
was
gonna
just
dye
like,
that?
I was so in shock. Like, what in the
Not the
what?
gray, not the gray eyelash.
What? I was offended. I was.
So what happens? Because I don't think I've seen.
I put my
people with that. What do
mascara
they do?
on
Oh,
it.
they-
I don't know what I mean. Well, I did pluck it out, and then I mascara.
And then I heard it's going to multiply.
It better not. But yeah, but that I did see. I did see. You know, good
No,
lord.
I'm here saying I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not judging anyone who does. But what happens? What if I decide, hey, I'm gray and I want to just dye it?
Yeah, I mean, there's
My
not again.
choice.
I don't like you said. I don't blame anyone for do it however you want to do it. My problem is just the people who are offended with people who don't do it. You know, I think that we're so into the reality age. When I'm talking about the reality TV shows and the reality women, most of them are fillers and Botox and everything. And so I think society is now accepting that as what it looks like. So when they really
really
see
see.
actual Asian women who have decided not to go through plastic surgery, then they come for them.
everything okay?
Yeah, they're like,
They
oh,
don't seem to
why
have
does she
aged
look
well."
like that? And it's like,
Yeah.
no, that's actually the normal aging. Just because they're deciding not to pull and tug their skin, and that's actually what aging looks like. And everyone should be allowed to age how they want to age.
But I will say this though. I would say I feel like every individual should put some sort of effort. Just because, oh, I'm 60 or I'm 50 or whatnot, and I choose not to nip and tuck anything, doesn't mean that I shouldn't put an effort into just my well-being.
Yeah, of
healthy.
course.
So,
And getting healthy and
yeah.
being physically fit.
Exactly.
Right?
You know,
But again, it's still their prerogative, man. You know, who am I to tell somebody that they should put effort into if they feel like I don't want to? Maybe somebody can say, I've done that all my life and I just don't feel like doing it anymore. I'm tired. I don't want to run 50 times a day. You know, who am I to tell the person you have to do that? I'm not their doctor. Let their doctor tell them what they need to do to make themselves feel
yeah.
good.
But I personally feel for me that okay, I'm gonna put some sort of effort. Like I've
Yeah.
never been the weightlifting type of person. I was more so like a
My
cardio
doctor's
person.
been
Hey,
telling me that, right? You have to lift weights and things like. But again, that's what I'm saying. Let the doctors tell them. You do what is right for you.
no, I'm not going out there saying,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah, yeah.
listen, you must get in the gym, you must
Yeah.
do this, you must lift weights, none of that. But I'm just saying, like for me personally, I think I've come to a point where I feel, okay, I'm not gonna be running 5 miles
Yeah.
a day or whatever. At this point, I'm gonna have to tap into some weightlifting and things
Right,
like that. Because
right.
change things up a little bit now that we're 50. So
Yeah.
that's just my take on it. And let people just age gracefully.
As people age gracefully.
people
Whatever that
age
means to you.
gracefully. Yeah.
You know, whatever aging gracefully means to you. Because it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
Right? What aging gracefully for me is different from what it is for you, you know? I mean, obviously if I had all that plastic surgery money, maybe I will go get some nip talkings.
Hey, sometimes
But listen, but I think just the fear of that, because
Yes.
again, the stories that you've heard, you know, but you never say never. I'm just saying, let everyone do what is right for you.
I
Do
was
what is
telling,
right for you.
I was telling you, I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was talking about how just generally, like, oh, I can't do certain things, like just
That
like
you used to be able
strength
to
stuff.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, like, hey, go in there, run this and that.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, but I do miss like having like flat belly and stuff like that. And then she's like, you're not having any hints. Like, are you planning on? And I was like, don't worry, fear wouldn't even take me there. You ain't gotta worry about me.
No, I mean, yeah, because again, I also watched that show Botched, and I see all of the botched surgeries,
Nobody's
and
touching my
then
face.
people they try to do surgery, then they find out that it didn't turn out how they thought it would turn out, and then they try to reverse it.
And then it
And
gets
that's when you
worse.
start to see people looking cray cray. So at this point, it's just polishing up on my makeup skills to kind of do what I need to do.
I kind of give up on that
I
makeup
don't know.
skills. It's not
I
gonna
don't know
happen.
if I'm gonna be able to, I again, never say never. I might be. I've seen some, like Wendy on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Her surgeon is like, I'm gonna need a number for that surgeon. That surgeon has
Really?
done, ooh, gosh, she looks awesome.
Oh.
But and yeah, so but then we don't want the botched kind, and then you're like, I should have just left it alone.
No,
So
see, like the face is like a no-go area. I don't
yeah,
care what's ever happens, but you're not messing with my face. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm not going there.
yeah.
I don't care if I
So
have like 40 wrinkles.
I mean, listen, like you said, it's
But, like-
just sometimes we just need to try to take care of ourselves from within, and
Yeah.
it just radiates out. But I would like for us to stop shaming people because of their age. I think that we're all praying that we all get older, that we all live a get to a full ripe
Healthy.
age, healthy. So this thing where you're like, oh my God, and you're making fun of people like you're not going to be here in a few years is really just weird. So so I'm gonna put it to the audience. What are you carrying into your next decade? Or, what are you leaving behind? And what do you want to give yourself permission to do? If you can put it in the comments and let us know,
What
that
are
would be
you-
great.
What are you not tolerating anymore?
What are you not
And you're
tolerating?
standing firm on it.
Exactly. We should all reflect. It's also the earlier part of the year where you're, reflecting on how you want your year to go. So what are you not going to be putting up with anymore? You should definitely have boundaries for sure.
For sure.
For
You
sure.
don't have to wait till you're 50.
No, certainly not have to wait till you're 50. I wish I actually did some of that when I was much younger. I was like, oh, some of the drama that I would have saved myself from,
Hey,
Tonya
you
has never been the
learn.
drama kind of person. I've had a lot of drama.
I think I have very, very,
you- did
very,
you? You've
very,
had very little
low
drama.
tolerance
Yeah,
for
yeah,
drama. So
yeah.
I used to just stand clear
Yeah,
of drama.
girl, I've had some drama. You know it, girl. But yeah, so thank you guys. We also want to take this opportunity to ask that you please like, comment, and subscribe. You
Subscribe.
really do us a great honor when you make a comment on our podcast. Sometimes we don't know that you've watched. We know that you like it, but we would really like you to, leave a comment. It also helps the algorithm recognize our videos and push it out there. So please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
next time.
Thank you.